Benjamin Sears. Welcome to Movement Snacks, bite-sized morsels of movement that are nourishing for both mind and body. Today's practice will focus on creating space and length in your lower back, on the sides, giving some nourishment. Hey friends, welcome to Movement Snacks, nourishing bite-sized morsels of movement for mind and body. This one is all about lengthening out your lower back, and we'll use some spinal coordination and then some yoga postures to do so. This is a great sort of unwind practice, or just a practice when you need a few minutes just to nourish your adrenals and kidneys by giving them some space so you can mellow out your nervous system a little bit. So we'll start with spinal coordination, lateral spinal waves, or hip-led lateral spinal waves. This is my favorite spinal wave. So first I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's hip-led, which means that your hip is the piece that pulls the rest of your body into the spinal wave. So let's build that. Hands on your rib cage, and start just by gliding your ribs from side to side without moving anything else in your body. So this is just a lateral glide of the rib cage on top of the hips. And a good trick for these lateral spinal waves is actually to put your back against the wall so that you don't pitch forward and back. Okay, so next time you swing your ribs to the left, take your hips to the right. And then start to take your hips to the left and swing your ribs to the right. And then take your hips to the right and swing your ribs to the left. And then hips to the left and swing your ribs to the right. Hips to the right, swing your ribs to the left. And now we're just going to quickly rip the Band-Aid off and start to add the head to it. So the head goes last. If you're feeling comfortable with it, you can drop your arms and keep them relaxed by your sides. So it's hip, side, ribs, armpit, shoulder, head. And it can be very helpful. I know we just got right into it, but to repeat the parts of your body that you want to move one by one so that you have a little internal reference for how you're moving. So left hip, side, ribs, armpit, shoulder, neck, ear, and then the other way. And again, feel free to put your whole back like right up against the wall, which will really make this movement a little bit more clear. So it's always helpful to have a point of contact to know where you are in space. And if you find this movement like a little bit frustrating in the beginning, just know that that's totally normal. Even if you've done a lot of yoga practice, you might not have done much spinal coordination work. You can see I'm picking up the pace just a little bit. You can feel how you can feel how your right foot pushes your hips to the left, and continue to focus on leading from the hip. So it's like a string that goes up the side of your body. So hips all the way up the side of your body to the ear, and then the head follows. Don't let your head be too lazy. We're going to keep doing this for like another minute or so, because it really takes a little time to go through maybe the initial acidity of like, this is so hard, into the sweetness of it actually feels so good. So, this kind of movement, I'm not looking at it as like training a particular muscle or targeting a specific area. It's more just movement for the sake of movement, but through the movement, you start to get some insight about some pieces. Like it feels really nice at the side of my back as I move. So use your feet to drive the movement. You can see this is great to do in the mirror as well. You can see that as my body goes left, my hips already start moving right. So that's what really makes it a wave. It's like the crest of the wave is going one way, but the trough of the wave is already going in the other direction. How do you breathe when you do this? Really, there's no special breathing technique here. Pretty much any activity, I just keep my tongue on the roof of my mouth and keep my breath soft and silky through my nose, unless I'm doing some kind of like very heavy lifting, and then there are bracing techniques you might want to do. So, you kind of have to get over yourself a little bit as you go through this in order to really get something out of it. When I was learning these waves, I would set a timer for 10 minutes and do the wave in the mirror. And it really takes some mental fortitude too. I found that what I really had to clean up was that my chest was pitching forward and I was kind of turning in the wave. really trying to keep it just a lateral wave. You know, you could add your arms to it as you start to feel comfortable, which gets interesting. It's just another piece of coordination. Okay, next time you wave to the right, slowly pull yourself up, and then with your right arm, you're going to make a slow circle, like a controlled articular rotation of the shoulder, but I want you to step your feet apart and tuck your tailbone so that as you reach your right arm across, you feel length on this side of your body without arching your back. And then internally rotate your shoulders, you sweep your arm behind you. I'm going to push my left hand against my legs a little bit. Just take a few of these circles. So as I come up, I externally rotate, which means that like I'm just turning my tricep forward. And then pause here, grip the floor with your toes, lift your chin and push down with your heels, and just lean over to the left. But it's not just a lean over, it's like a up and out. And then on the exhales, pull your right ribs down and drive from your sitting bone through your heels so you feel this nice length up the side of your back, and lift your chin a little. And then it's okay to let your shoulder go way, way up. But when your shoulder goes way, way up, pull your ribs down and bring your hips forward. So as your ribs go down, your hips go forward, and those counterbalances are what give you that nice stretch. Nice. So now step your left foot behind your right foot and get on the ball of your left foot and make a nice bolt of the scissor with your knees. And then we're going to go up again in the same direction with the right arm. And with your left arm, go to the opposite thigh. And now drive your knee into the back of your other knee. And use your knees moving forward to bring your tailbone down. And feel for how you can get a little more stretch up the side of your back. Take your hand, put it behind your head and support your neck. And then lift your chin and reach through your elbow. Wrap your tricep forward. Now take your left hand to your rib cage. Inhale, lengthen out your back. Exhale, pull ribs down, reach through right elbow, and strongly tuck your tailbone. So like there's this nice separation in space, decompression even in the hip. And then there's this very secret little rotation. Spin your right thigh in just a little by gripping with your right big toe. Okay, keep your hand behind your head and just step your feet apart, bend your knees, and then take your right elbow over your left thigh. Make a fist with your bottom hand. Put the top hand on top. Lean forward, knees forward, stick your butt out, and then look straight ahead to turn into a twist. As you turn into this twist, substantiate from the side that you're moving away from. So press down with your right foot so that you can stick your right butt out. So you really feel that you're in the fold of that right hip. And then lean back into the twist, and just like you were doing in the previous pose, pull your ribs down and glide your chin back. And then you'll really have a personal revolution in the twist. With the strength and stability of your first floor underneath you, you can revolve your heart, and then you can change your direction of sight. So it's really that the heart has to turn to change where you're looking in life also. And in order to do that, you have to have your legs underneath you. Grab your elbows and then just fold forward. And I really want you to bend your knees here in the forward fold. Reach through your elbows, bring your weight forward. Draw an imaginary line from the center of your feet right to the center between your feet. And then take that line straight up to your perineum and lift. So the center of your feet, the arches, and the center of your pelvis, the perineum, this is the sacred heart of those two places. It's the middle and the mediator. So from the middle, you mediate and go out to your circumference. So now we'll take it to circumference. Crawl your fingers forward. Now, if this is a tough one for you, put each hand on a block because I want this bend in your knees so you're in the fold of the hips so that you can really allow your kidneys to get a break, right? And forward bending is really about getting over yourself. So it's about hips overhead. Now take your right hand to your left hand, and then your left hand over to the left, but stay at the circumference of the imaginary clock. Move your left hip back and up away from your left hand. And as you do that, look out in front of you, and imagine that your right knee can move forward and your right hip can move up at the same time. And then move your knees together. So in the magic square of the pelvis, the knees are the pinnacle of achievement, or the third eye of the pelvis. So move your knees together to look out and have better sight, better vision. Good. Keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Inhale up the front of your body. exhale down the back of your body and put a little crescendo in it. Arch your back so that the pass doesn't come over your front, so that you can lead with your front body, your potential. And then from there, left hand goes back where it used to be, right hand goes where it was, and then bring yourself back, grab your elbows again. Nice, and this time look forward and lead with your front, come all the way up. Step your feet apart like you did before, and then start those circles with your left arm. So with each circle, feel how the length comes from your lower back into the circle. And the rotation of the shoulder is important. So as I come up, I'm powerfully externally rotating my shoulders so my armpit is hollow. And then as I reach back, I'll internally rotate, turning from the upper arm and pull your shoulder blade back. Next time your arm comes up, just pause there, right hand on your right thigh, and feel how, of course, there's a reach in the stretch, but the reach isn't about giving your heart away. The reach is a yearning for freedom, which means that your heart has a place to be, but you press down through your heel so that you have the support of your first floor. So from your sitting bone to your heel, to bring your hips forward, and then lift your chin and reach with your top arm. Really feels nice to get that reach into the low back. Now arm down, and this time step your right foot behind your left and make a nice bolt of the scissor. So feel how this bolt of the scissor helps you to place your hips, and then left arm up and right hand on your left ribs. So you have to do a lot of work with the balls of the feet and the hips to get the crunch out of the opposite side of your lower back. And reach through your top arm. Roll your knees towards each other. Wrap your shoulder and then put your hand behind your head and truly support your head. Turn a little to the left. Each exhale, tailbone down, elbow reach, and feel how you contraction your neck. And I feel a nice stretch up the left side of my back. Press the balls of your feet down, the lungs of your feet to lift your lungs. And then as you press the balls of your feet down, without putting them down, reach your heels down, because your heels will give you your hips. Step your feet apart, keep your hand behind your head for a moment, and then as you reach forward, press your head into the hands so that you arch your back a little. Take your left elbow over your right knee, and then look forward and lean forward first, and then before you get that twist, stick your butt out so that you're in the fold of your hips, and then you can lean back and the twist becomes more luxurious. Whenever you twist, look forward to turn your head like you're looking around a clock in front of you, and that'll give your neck more space. Now I imagine that I'm playing the pedals of with my feet. So right foot kind of pushes forward and left foot pulls back, and both knees move forward, and then I can really make a lot more space in my back. And the way that I'm making space in my back is getting that fold in my hips, because if I have a clean fold in my hips like origami, then the top of the pose, my upper body, can extend over the frame of the posture. So both knees move forward and in. Again, threading the needle at the third eye of the pelvis. And then exhale and lean back into the twist. Now just sweep your hands onto your elbows and fold forward. The fold should feel a little longer. And we're going to hang out in the fold for a moment here. So for 1, go to your heels. 2, to the balls of your feet. 3, over the top of your feet to the middle of the outer edge of the foot. 4, go to your pinky toe knuckle. 5, lift the middle of the arch of your foot all the way up to your perineum. 6, go to the inside of your heel without losing the previous point. 7, up to the inner edge of your arch. 8, over the top of your foot to the outer edge of your heel. And then 9, all the way up between second and third toe. 10, circle up your feet so that you stand strong. And then take your hands and crawl them forward as far in front of you as you can go. And again, bend your knees. So bending your knees in these forward bends is like an and in the middle of the sentence that says like, and I can continue to stay in the forward bend even though it's taxing, right? And the reason forward bends are taxing is because you're going into yourself. So they're very reflective, and you go into yourself to get insight, and then maybe you can come back out with some insight that helps you operate in the world in a more potentiated way. Left hand to your right hand over to the right. When you take your right hand to the right, don't do a wide right turn with your hips. So as your right hand goes to the right, move your right knee forward. So all of these poses really offer you the opportunity to develop your centering skills, which is really the deeper purpose of yoga, is to know how in any circumstance to reference your circumference to find your center, so that
you don't get knocked off course all the time by the little cuts and bangs and bruises of life. I mean, we all feel them, we all get bumped, but how can you have some bounce back ability, right? So feel how this is giving you that nice space in your left kidney. Resist the urge to straighten your legs so that you again can have this downward slope. Life is easier on a downhill slope, right? And then take your right hand under so that you have a crisscross at the elbows. Nice. And then from there, go back over to the left one more time just to get that nice length in the right side of your back. And I know you're getting it in that right low back, and maybe the legs are on fire here. And let's take it the other way again. One last time, go all the way to circumference. So substantiate from your left foot, lift your hips, look out where you're going, turn your heart to 2 p.m., the drishti of joy. And then walk your hands back, hang one more time, grab your elbows, let your head hang. Let the past drop off your back. So it's like the breath of the seasons is the magic of the metaphor here. So inhale at the front of your body, bring your heart forward a little bit for spring, which is full of potential. And then hold at the top of your head for summer, which is ripe but can't last forever. And then exhale, autumn leaves descend into the ground. And then hold underneath yourself with your perineum for winter. Learn to be empty and okay with it. Nice, and then drop your arms. Come into a squat. Your armpits will perfectly fit your knees because you're designed to fit yourself. So all this twisting and turning is just to get you to the point where you feel like you kind of fit yourself. And then come down to your knees, because that's what happens, right? By the end of the practice, you kind of feel like, okay, I'm a little more okay with being alive and all of the challenges that life brings, all of the work that each day entails. Every day really is like an odyssey, right? And every breath is like a little mini odyssey. So we just break it down one little arc at a time so that the longer arc of life becomes more rounded. And when it's more rounded, it has more smoothness to it. And the more smoothness that you have in your life, the fewer sharp edges, the more sustainable your life becomes. So put your hands on your thighs and close your eyes. And relax your belly. And put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, where you would say love or light. And feel the sensation of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. And imagine that you breathe in every direction from that point, so that the inhale is spherical and buoyant from the roof of your mouth all the way down to the deep bowl of your pelvis. So as you feel the contact of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, you feel the contact of your awareness with every cell in your body during the expansion and contraction of the cycle of breathing. And use your imagination so that as you feel your tongue on the roof of your mouth, you feel yourself through your whole body, as if you had the tongue on the roof of the mouth of every cell in your body. And every cell is saying light or love. So these words are uplifting, because the big trick is how to uplift yourself. Because once you uplift yourself, maybe you can uplift others. Notice the sweetness of the inhale, your ability to manage and manipulate your own life force. Experience the beauty of the exhale, the let go without disappearing, the ability to let go and be okay. So every exhale is this opportunity to just practice a little bit of let go. So you can feel on the exhale how you can truly let go a little bit, but still be there, still be in your center.
stay conscious and aware for the entire next breath cycle, from the beginning of the inhale to the end of the exhale. And make your breath even quieter, like a little secret. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And maybe you can take this little space of expansion and softness and let go through to the rest of your day, even when the world asks you to contract and get tight. Learn how within the contraction to find some expansion. Getting a little esoteric, but I think you get the idea. Have a great day. Peace.